Welcome to Solutions Rising. I'm Rachel Branch, and I am delighted to be speaking with the Auditor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Diana DiZoglio. Auditor DiZoglio's work is extremely important, and each of us need to know just where our tax dollars are budgeted and where they are actually spent. Welcome, Auditor DiZoglio, Diana.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I appreciate the great opportunity to join you on Solutions Rising today. It's an exciting time in Massachusetts, and it's an exciting time in the Office of State Auditor.
I'm just thrilled. Thank you. I always start pretty much every program asking the guests to tell a little bit about their background, whatever you'd like to share, your heritage, your experience, your life. It's all up to you.
Absolutely. My name is Diana DiZoglio. I was born to a 17-year-old single mother in the city of Methuen, Massachusetts, way up on the New Hampshire border. And I grew up housing insecure. I moved around quite a bit during my childhood, depending on where my mom could find work. As a young mother, she was a nurse's aide while I was growing up, moved mostly between the cities of Lawrence and Methuen, and ended up graduating from our local public school system, eventually going off to community college, which was an associate's degree I was able to afford thanks to our state's investments in families like mine. From there, got a scholarship to Wellesley College to become the first in my family to graduate, and understanding that it was through the investments of others that someone like me was able to see some success. I really wanted to pay it forward and help to ensure the success of others in the communities that I grew up in. So I got involved in a lot of nonprofit work. I worked at youth centers, youth organizations. I worked at community outreach facilities, the United Teen Equality Center, served at Girls Inc. in their after-school programs. And I also waitressed and cleaned houses alongside of that work, because as many working families in the Commonwealth know, you might love what you do for a day job, but it does not always afford you with the opportunity to live with a standard of dignity that you're working hard to serve in. So I was hustling and doing all these different jobs, and I ended up getting a job offer working at the State House in Boston. And full disclosure, I had no idea during that point in my life what happened at the State House. I didn't really know what a state representative was or what the legislature really did. But I was offered a job opportunity because of my fluency in Spanish and because of the fact that I was born and raised in the area that needed constituent services. And I ended up getting this job and going to work at the State House and learning about all of the wonderful things that our state government, that our state legislature can do when it comes to investing in things like early education, healthcare, the fight against climate change, making sure that we are working to promote social justice in our communities, so on and so forth. I learned about all of these great things. But I also, during my very short time working at the State House in our state government here in Massachusetts, learned about the flip side of our government and how things can operate when there is no accountability. During my short time working in the Massachusetts House of Representatives as a younger woman in my 20s at the time, and as a legislative aide, I was actually sexually harassed while working in our own House of Representatives. And the way that they thought it was appropriate to make that harassment stop happening was to fire me and then require that I sign away my right to talk about what happened by signing a taxpayer-funded non-disclosure agreement meant to silence me about everything I had seen, witnessed, or experienced behind those closed doors up on Beacon Hill among some of the most powerful politicians in Massachusetts. But I didn't let them get rid of me. I didn't let them keep me quiet, Rachel, and I didn't leave state government like they told me to do. I instead decided to run for state representative myself, and a little over a year later, got elected to serve as the youngest serving woman in the House of Representatives at that time.
And
since then, Rachel, I've been fighting like hell to make sure that working families, just like the one that I come from, have representation and a voice up on Beacon Hill. People who have been disenfranchised, people who have been isolated from a state government that doesn't work for all families in Massachusetts the way that it could and the way that it should. I have been fighting for those folks. I served 10 years in the legislature, 6 years as a state representative, 4 years as a state senator, until I eventually ran to be your state auditor and was elected in 2022, and have been working incredibly hard alongside of many of you to promote transparency, accountability, accessibility, and equity across our state government, and make sure that we are fighting to make government work better. That is the mission of the state auditor's office, to make government work better. And that's why I'm so excited to join you here today to talk about how we can do that alongside of all of you.
I was just going to segue into all those state rep and the positions that you held, but my goodness, what a background. Everything I care about and believe, and of course, what Solutions Rising is about. And I'm just delighted to learn more about you. And I do want you to talk about how you came to the decision to be a candidate for Auditor of Massachusetts from your background as a state rep and state senator.
Well, what I became known for in the legislature, mostly, I believe, even though I, fought for a lot of issues across the board during my 10 years, working on everything from veteran services to education and healthcare, funding for transportation, so on and so forth. I ended up really honing in on a specific area of government that had a lot to do with increasing transparency and accountability in our state government. Massachusetts, many might not know, is actually frequently ranked by most good government groups as the least transparent state government in the entire nation. We are not subject in our state legislature, for example, to public records, not subject to open meeting laws. Bills are able to be passed into law, through a process that allows for our legislature to vote in the middle of the night without any public hearing on bills that are up for consideration. And the state legislature in particular operates under a cloak of darkness. We need some sunshine. We need some sunlight. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. And when I was a member of the legislature, I would often stand up and speak about the need for increased transparency and accountability so as to increase access and equity for the people that we are called to serve. Unfortunately, I got pushback year after year during my time in the House of Representatives and during my time in our state Senate. And during those years, I learned about the tremendous need for increased access through conversations that I was having with people across not only my district, but across the Commonwealth. I chaired a few different committees and had been hearing from people about how they wanted to be able to participate more in what was happening in state government, and they wanted to learn more, but they felt like they didn't have access, and that by the time they learned about what was happening, it was too late. A bill had already been passed into law, for example, or the issue that they were concerned about had already been up for discussion and folks didn't hear about it, or a hearing had been held, during a time period that they didn't get enough notice about to be able to attend that hearing. Those types of things were frequently raised to me. And while I was pushing for them as a representative and as a senator, I saw the opportunity in the state auditor's office to have a greater platform and a stronger voice as it pertains to fighting for transparency, fighting for accountability. The state auditor's office in Massachusetts, when I talk to folks, a lot of folks will say, man, auditor, don't audit me. And I have to laugh because I certainly understand why folks would think that the state auditor in Massachusetts audits individuals across Massachusetts, but we're not the IRS. We do not audit you as individual taxpayers. The state auditor's office actually audits our government for you. We make sure that state government is spending your tax dollars appropriately, effectively, and efficiently. We look at state programs, state agencies, and we identify gaps in their systems. We look at their process and their procedures that are used in different important programs across the Commonwealth. One of the most salient examples that maybe I can think of right now that surely everybody's heard about is our state's MBTA, our Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority. We have a lot of challenges right now in the MBTA, from trains catching on fire to constant derailments to safety challenge after safety challenge and performance challenge after performance challenge. And while the Office of State Auditor, some might think, is filled with folks with green eye shades and pens and pencils and just going through the financials, our office actually conducts what's known as performance audits, where we can delve into the performance of different state agencies like our state MBTA, and we can look at ways to help them improve upon safety and performance. We're getting ready to, over the next few weeks, actually release our audit of the MBTA. And full disclosure, it's not as robust or comprehensive as I would like it to be due to the limitations in our office based on lack of funding. We have asked the legislature for the funding to create an MBTA audit unit that would consistently be able to pump out audits of our transportation system, including but not limited to the MBTA. But that hasn't been passed in the state legislature yet, so we are operating with the funds that we do have. But this audit that we are releasing will shine a light on some of the areas that we were able to examine, hopefully to help our MBTA function better. We know that public transportation in Massachusetts has never properly served the residents of the Commonwealth. And I know when I'm talking about this issue with folks out in Western Mass. Look, I live up on the New Hampshire border. I do not live in the city of Boston or really close to it. So I know a lot of folks might say, well, I don't take public transportation or, that doesn't really impact me. But folks, we're all paying for the public transportation system here in Massachusetts. And we want to make sure that our tax dollars are not being wasted. And we also want to make sure that our neighbors who do use public transportation, that they are getting robust services and that they are able to access transportation that's safe, right? We have working families that need to use those transportation, those buses, those trains in order to get to their healthcare appointments, get to work, get their children back and forth safely to school and to other appointments. So we want to make sure those systems are operating efficiently and effectively. And our office is getting ready to release a report about ways to increase safety and to target performance challenges and potentially save money for taxpayers just like you as well in the process. So we conduct audits of agencies like the MBTA across the board. We look at Department of Children and Families, early education and care. We're looking at issues in Department of Conservation and Recreation. We look at agencies that can make an impact on environmental justice, for example. The list goes on and on. So it's really exciting. And I've been able to take the work, Rachel, that I was doing in the state legislature and really use that in the work that we're doing in the auditor's office to inform policymakers, to inform advocates, stakeholders, and all residents on ways to help improve our state government, to help it operate more efficiently and effectively for all.
So from my viewpoint, you came to the auditor's position with an enormously helpful and significant background. I am not surprised that you were harassed. That doesn't surprise me at all. And what you find in your auditor's reports, one of the questions I would have is, what are the avenues for enforcement of the reports that you come up with? And a little side question is, how's your spirit doing? Because this is really hard what you're doing.
You know what? I appreciate that. We are plugging along. We are making sure to stay focused on the issues at hand that folks are raising to us. And, look, regarding my spirit, I will tell you this. I am a big lover of nature. And I believe in getting fresh air. I am out on the trails quite often. I do a lot of hiking. I do a lot of walking meditation while I am hiking, so that I can, process all the different things that are going on in state government. There is certainly a lot happening. But look, like you, Rachel, and like a lot of folks at home, we all have a purpose in our lives, right? And I think for me, what I stay focused on when I am looking at some of these challenges in state government, looking at some of the ways to help identify waste, fraud, and abuse, and taking on some of these bigger challenges, I think about it in terms of purpose, right? Not just what is my individual purpose, but what is the purpose of state government? Why does state government exist? And in my opinion, state government exists to help people in our communities, to help those who are struggling, to make sure that we have those cornerstones of government in place, that we have transportation, that we have healthcare, that we have infrastructure, that we have education that's properly serving all children of the Commonwealth, regardless of family background, bank balance, zip code, or how their parents might affiliate with any particular party. We want to make sure that folks have access, that there is equity. And that is what I believe our state government is supposed to be doing. So when I do take on some of these challenges, I think about ways to best make sure that that's happening, and staying as focused as possible is done by connecting with all of you, by making sure that I'm keeping my finger on the pulse of what's happening in our local community, coming on these local, podcast, cable access, coming on local radio shows, and visiting with folks in our communities often. Gloria Caballero Roca, who was the one who invited me on the show today. I met with her in a coffee shop locally, and it was when I was out in Chicopee and Holyoke recently. And we talked about some of the different things that were going on in our local communities and the way that we wanted to partner to uplift our communities, to uplift the residents. And I will say I'm so grateful to folks who continue to reach out to me, who continue to reach out to my office to let us know about your ideas, about your passions, and about your concerns. It's going to take all of us working together to make sure that we're living in the best Commonwealth possible. So I want to thank you for, again, this opportunity to come on today and to share some of the work that we're doing alongside of you.
Well, Dr. Caballero Roca has done many shows. We're doing a lot on the assault on women worldwide and what is happening. And she will be, again, a guest. I think it would be great fun to have both of you as guests together, and that's an open invitation. But I do want to come, I'm aware that you are responsible, or an intrinsic part, of proposing a ballot question for our upcoming November election. I understand it's ballot initiative number 23 through 34, House Bill 4251. I'd like to discuss what a ballot initiative is, how the process works, and how Commonwealth residents and voters are informed of its significance and need for passage.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate the question, Rachel. We are indeed on what I call Team Sunshine, pushing for this ballot initiative to be on the November ballot. So I'm going to just inform folks about what's going on for those who haven't been able to necessarily follow this ballot question right now. So as your state auditor, I have been working on an audit of our state legislature, our House of Representatives, and our state Senate. Unfortunately, even though every state department, entity, agency, of which there are over 200, even though all of those departments and agencies get audited at least once every 3 years, our own state legislature has refused to cooperate with an audit by the Office of State Auditor. Now, the state legislature historically was always audited by the Office of State Auditor. We actually have in our possession in the Office of State Auditor, which we've posted online for everybody to see, at least 117 other audits of our state legislature that have been conducted since the creation of the auditor's office back in 1849.
Ooh.
But because current legislative leaders are now refusing to participate in a routine audit that every other state entity in the Commonwealth participates in, we have to bring this issue to you, the voters, on the November ballot and ask you for your support just to be able to do our jobs. Now, this is already something that's written into law. The state law requires the state auditor's office to audit all departments, I repeat, all departments of the Commonwealth, again, at least once every 3 years. All means all. The law is very clear. But because the Speaker of the House and the Senate President are pushing back against this audit, and they are saying that they don't believe that all includes them regarding how they're spending our taxpayer dollars, we are seeking to incorporate the language, including the general court, into the current language of the law to make it crystal clear to the Speaker and the Senate President and the entire legislature that all means all, and that they are indeed included in the law that requires all state departments to be audited at least once every 3 years. We can't do this without you. This is a simple matter of transparency and accountability. Our office provides a resource to taxpayers where we can shine a light on discrepancies between what an agency might be claiming money is being spent on and what it actually is being spent on. And we can make sure that there is accountability in how your tax dollars are being spent. You deserve to know how your tax dollars are being spent. And it's not okay, and frankly, deeply concerning on many different levels, that any elected official would refuse an audit by the Office of State Auditor to shine a light on where they can do better and where there may be gaps in the system. One has to ask the question, what are they hiding if they don't want to participate in this audit? Again, an audit that every other state entity participates in, understanding that it's all part of making government work better, and that it's a simple measure of increasing transparency and accountability for those taxpayers our state departments are called to serve. So we do have a legislature that's refusing to be audited right now. Our office is seeking to do our jobs, and we need your support at the November ballot box to ensure that that happens. So please, when you go to vote in November, please vote yes. Vote to ensure that the state auditor's office has the explicit, spelled out authority to audit the state legislature to ensure compliance from our elected officials regarding transparency around how they are spending our tax dollars and what processes and procedures they are engaging in to do so.
So this is House Bill 4251. It will be how it appears on the ballot. And this seems unnecessary work for your office for, did you say since 1849 has been the auditor's responsibility and that creation of that office. But this seems absolutely an unnecessary path to have to put a ballot question. But once again, all of us, we can vote for that. But it's
So this
outrageous
will be,
that the legislator
this
would
will
allow.
be, yes, this will be on the November ballot to allow all voters the opportunity to let your voices be heard about what you think about this. Do you want our state legislature to be audited by the Office of State Auditor? Do you think that that is an additional accountability and transparency measure that we need? I, of course, argue absolutely. Increased transparency, increased accountability only serves the residents of the Commonwealth.
Yep.
But again, I can't do my job without your support. So I am asking all the people of Massachusetts, please, first and foremost, go vote in November. And please, as well, make sure to go down the line and get to those ballot questions. There are some really important issues on the ballot this year, and ours will be one of them. Please vote yes. Thank you.
And if they have questions on this, they could certainly contact your office. We have that information be showing on this program. And
I will just jump in here, Rachel. I'm actually going to say, please don't contact my office about the ballot question. You may contact us at that address for any other issue besides the ballot question that is official business. But since we are campaigning for the ballot question separately from the actual official business in my office, please contact me at diana@dianadizaglio.com, or you may visit dianaforma.com and click the ballot button, where you may find the resources you need to be able to make a contribution, financially speaking, or to sign up to volunteer with our efforts. We can use all the support that we can get, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share about this initiative with all of you and to ask for your support.
Oh, I'm really glad that you clarified that. Thank you very much.
Sure. Yeah,
yes,
thank you.
And this is wonderful. Of course, I'm in total agreement with what you're doing. Transparency, in and out, all over the place is really, really important. And now we are, believe it or not, ready for a closing thought from you. And I want to thank you, Massachusetts Auditor Diana DiZoglio, for being a guest on Solutions Rising. And if I could have one more thought for you, I'd be very grateful.
Look, here in Massachusetts, our Office of State Auditor is working incredibly hard for the people of Massachusetts to increase transparency, accountability, equity, and accessibility across our state government, and to curb waste, fraud, and abuse of your taxpayer dollars. Every penny saved is a penny that can go towards important programs that serve residents of the Commonwealth, but we can't do the work that we do without your participation. We can't do anything that we do without you. So please always feel free to reach out. My email is auditor@massauditor.gov. I hope to hear from you, and have a great day, everybody. Once again, this is Diana DiZoglio, State Auditor. Looking forward to connecting soon.
Thank you so much. And as I say at the end of each program, if each one of us picked up one problem and solved it, imagine the incredible view we would all have of Solutions Rising. Please be part of the solution. Thank you.